Hello and welcome to a new Madden series. This is where I'm going to take you through some of the stuff if I was a head franchise dev, and some of the stuff I would be working on. Now, quick disclaimer, not everything in this series I expect to be in Madden 21. That's just unrealistic, especially given the time that we live in. But this is some of the stuff I would add and would like to see, especially in the future. Franchise mode, while it is very easy to pick up and sometimes just good to get in the game and play, is not really in depth, and that really upsets a lot of franchise people, myself included, who go through a lot of efforts for my videos to make it seem more in depth, and so you can see just some of the stuff that it's hard to access without going through work. Now, starting this episode, the first episode, we're going to be going through time progression. This is something that not necessarily is talked about ever. But it's something I think is important. The way time progresses in Madden today is week by week, which is okay. Don't get me wrong, I don't think it's that bad that it progresses week by week. It is easy to pick up. Again, every pro of Madden franchise, it follows this. It's easy to pick up, it's easy to get into a game, set your training, set your scouting, then off you go. The only thing is, teams don't operate on a week by week basis. They don't work out once before a game and then that's it. They work out multiple times a week and then go on to their game. So the way I would do it is just implementing a whole calendar system into the game. It's simple, easy to use, so it keeps with the casual aspect that Madden has been going towards for the past few years now. But it also just has the in-depth elements that all of us want. So obviously we'll start with the accessing the calendar, and how you do that is replacing the advanced week feature entirely. Instead of just force advancing or ready to advancing, you just click that. It opens your calendar, and you'll see a mock-up here of the calendar I made based off my Bengals franchise, which you should check out. It's a real fun series. We're 5-0 now, I believe. We're at the bye. We just had our bye week episode Monday. I believe that's when it released. It's a real fun series. You should really check it out. This is where the graphics come from. This is what I made. Now, it's easy to digest. You can see it has our team logo, the color of our team, just so you know, because that's what it would do in real life. You'll see the year and then the date. Now, starting with how the calendar is going to be laid out, it's going to be laid out realistically like a normal calendar. So you'll see Sunday, September 27th would be on here because October starts on a Thursday this year. And you'll see our game, past game versus the Jaguars. Now, this will include whether we won or lost and the score at which the game ended at. Now, possibly you can add in if the game went over overtime. I'd have to mess around and see if it could fit. It feels tight for space already, so I don't think it would be realistic. Now, moving on to the rest of the weekends, you can see days that have been passed are in gray, so you can't go back to them. And to the day we are on, as you can see, Thursday, October 1st, 2020, is in yellow. And you can see this day we have training scheduled, and this is when you can do training to upgrade your players. Now, training, practice, scouting, all that stuff is just going to be coming in the future. It's too much to go through in one short episode that's supposed to be covering a basic concept like this. That'll be in the future. Don't worry about it. But it would be scheduled for today, and you can edit it to schedule training whenever you want. Now, keep in mind this will go in with the fatigue system, which will be explained again in a future episode, more than likely with the training episode. Moving down, you can see all the games, including the bye week. So you see on the October 4th, on that next week, week 5, we'll have the Giants. It is an away game, so I'll say at. Then I'll have the logo in the middle, the color of the team, what the day is in the top right, and then the time. Now, the time is usually ignored because when have you honestly, and being completely honest, picked up a franchise game Madden and cared about when the game was played? I know no one does, it feels like, but it's just a quality of life that I think could be added. And you can see how I did the training. It's just random. Of course, you would in real life put thinking in how to do it. And you can see on the 11th we have our bye. There's a way to make it probably look better, but I don't know. Now, one thing also is that if you don't have training scheduled, or if you, whatever it is, you should be able to have access to the primetime games. Now, unless you have the primetime game that week, as you can see, if we were going to week 8, we couldn't watch the primetime game against, well, you wouldn't watch the primetime game because you're playing in the primetime game. Unless you were just going through a franchise watching like a rebuild series where you're not playing. But you should be able to watch the primetime games. I think, honestly, being able to watch the games can be more fun sometimes than playing the actual game. I realize that with the Bengals franchise, getting all the highlights and stuff, that sometimes it's just not fun playing the game and more fun just watching. There are infuriating parts about the CPU, but I can enjoy a good old-fashioned watching the game. Something that we've missed, especially with no sports on. As you can see, the trade deadline after week 8 on real life, it's the Tuesday after week 8. So it would be this year, the 27th, after the Monday night game. Of course, if you were trying to do this week by week, it'd just be the trade deadline is after your game, which would be at Baltimore on a Thursday. Which, of course, I don't think is that realistic. And, of course, we could go on to the off-season. The off-season is going to get its own video, which will include some of the calendar stuff. But, and it's useful for the off-season because that's not a week-by-week thing. Like, the off-season doesn't occur week-by-week. It occurs day-by-day with trading, free agency, all that stuff. And the way Madden does it is 4 stages, and then you get to the draft, and here we go. We're preseason week 1. We're off and going. Now, this is a real basic concept. This is going to be a shorter video. Now, I hope you enjoyed this video. I know it's going to be a shorter video. It's going to be like 7 or 8 minutes. The next episode, I'm going to be going through some of the presentation stuff in the game that could be upgraded just to give it a better feel. I hope you enjoy, and I'll see you next week. This is going to be... And before I go, I just want to say this is going to be a weekly series every Wednesday. Around 1 o'clock, I'm going to be uploading this. This episode's going to be coming out a little later than the rest just because of how time was worked out. And to keep my schedule, I'm going to be uploading the Bengals franchise on Monday and Friday. So it'll be easy to get content from me. Monday and Friday is going to be Bengals franchise. Today, Wednesday, every Wednesday is going to be this until I run out of stuff to do. Next episode is going to be all about presentation in the game. It is very lackluster, boring, not inclusive, doesn't give you a lot of stuff. And I think it's going to be the project of our next deep dive. I'm going to be going through... After a presentation, unless I think of something else, I'm going to be going through basically an entire season of franchise, and that's how I'm going to be doing these deep dives from now on. Just go through a season. I hope you enjoyed. Leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed, and I'll see you next week for some more franchise content.